Hello and welcome back to another Blizzcon recap. This time it is for Heroes of the Storm. Now, Heroes of the Storm is the new game from Blizzard. It is it's what they describe as a hero brawler, so similar to things like Dota and League of Legends. However, there is a key thing. People inside Blizzard have said that they want this to be the Super Smash Bros. Of the space, and it certainly seems, after seeing what they've showed at BlizzCon, it certainly seems like this is going to be the case. Overall, it looks very cool. So in this video, I'm going to go through the inception of the game, the heroes, the games and maps, and then some general gameplay things that we found out. So, the inception of the game, well, it is obviously about playing as Blizzard heroes with friends, and it really sort of took off back in Warcraft 3. The Warcraft 3 editor and the new game mechanics that it allowed are what allowed people to create MOBAs. That's where the original Dota came from. And, Blizzard ended up, they essentially allowed for Dota to be created, but they never really capitalized on it, so I think this is one of the main reasons that they're moving into this space now. So with the StarCraft 2 editor, they once again wanted to wrap up the stuff and make it a powerful tool. So in order to show everyone what it could do, the team went and they made one custom map for what it was at the time, I think Blizzard All-Stars or Blizzard Dota, and a lot of people liked it, but essentially as they kept on showing it at BlizzCons and coming back and back, they decided to expand it, and now it's its own full game. And I also think that they probably decided to do this in light of the just ridiculous success of League of Legends and Dota 2. This space is growing massively, and Blizzard are going to try to get their own slice of the pie. And in terms of gameplay, this is certainly more casual, more snappy than the other two games from what they've shown, and it seems like it will have its own little fit within the space. They also said that Hearthstone is important to Heroes of the Storm because it captures the fun and essence of Warcraft in a card game, so what they want to do with this is capture all of Blizzard into one game and then sort of intertwine it all together in a way that's compelling, and certainly from an aesthetic point of view, it does look very cool in my opinion. Now, let's talk about heroes. So heroes will have multiple roles, including ones with very special, unique roles, which is nice. It seems like it's more than just the standard 4 or 5 different roles. It seems like there will be some that are specific enough to really just be their own thing. That's probably going to be a nightmare from a balance perspective, but I can see it translating into very good gameplay. They also said that making the 3 franchises of Diablo, StarCraft, and Warcraft fit together in the same game wasn't particularly hard because there's been orcs standing around demons for a long time. In terms of the Burning Legion, there's been, Tyrael and the Angels have been with demons in Diablo, so they can sort of intertwine and mix everything together. So, the next thing they talked about was Arthas, and they said that playing Arthas had to feel like you were in control of one of the most deadly heroes ever. After all, you can steal the souls of his enemies and do that sort of thing. So, one of the things they wanted to do was make every single hero really feel like the character that they are, and it does seem quite cool, actually. And also the hero system lets them go back and use characters from the past before they were changed, so you could play Arthas the Paladin and the Lich King as an example. They also have a mechanic called the heroic ability. It's similar to an ultimate, but it seems like there's a few different ones that each hero can choose. They gave a example for Arthas in that one of them was he could summon Sindragosa, which would really just fundamentally change the way that the hero would play. So next, they talked about some other heroes. Elite Tauren Chieftain will appear, and what it can do is move quickly, heal itself, and it has a heroic ability called Stage Dive, which allows it to jump on the enemy from out of nowhere, and it can also force everyone to stop and dance briefly, which is, in my opinion, one of the best forms of CC ever. Also, Abathur from StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm, appears. He can jump inside any friendly hero from far away, allowing him to shoot abilities from inside them, but on his own he's not very dangerous. Essentially, this guy is very much in the background, but works through other people and minions and stuff. It looks really interesting, actually, and quite a unique role for a hero in a game like this. Also, heroes will have different skins that are, they can be as simple as different colors, or they could be completely different models. For an example, Diablo Murloc, Uther wearing a medic armor from StarCraft, or Uther wearing Judgment armor. So, all in all, quite cool. And they said finally that character customization is central. For example, players like Tyrande could be spec'd into being a pure healer. So once again, they're cramming in a lot of very interesting things. Next, they talked about games and maps and that sort of thing. So games will last 20 minutes. The reason they did that is because they wanted it just to feel snappy, and honestly, I agree with this. One of the problems with Dota is that a game could be 40 minutes, your team could be crap and you lose, but if you leave the game early, you get penalized for it. So just gameplay-wise, it translates into a sort of a horrible mess. With a nice, snappy 20-minute game, I just think it all works better, especially for the kind of game they're going for. It's probably not, it's going to be simpler and not really as in-depth as Dota, I'd imagine anyway. Now, there are also team levels rather than hero levels. This makes support heroes and specialist heroes a little bit more viable. I think this is nice. It means that there's no players that are just running away, getting their, just being crazy OP or something, because everything's nice and normalized to the team level. I think that's good, and it will I just think it'll be nice for the way the flow of the match goes. Also, Battlegrounds are the name for maps, and they provide opportunities to play with friends and a variety of different gameplay settings, and maps can be taken in and out of the match me game rotation, new maps added, a little bit similar to the way they do it in StarCraft 2. However, these maps are definitely quite complex, so I would imagine we're not going to have 20 of them or something mad. So they talked about 2 maps. The first one is Blackheart Bay, and this requires you to find chests, attack them, then collect the coins, and once you collect the coins, you take them to Blackheart, and whoever gets the most, they give him the Blackheart, and then he will join your team and start attacking for you, and he'll also lend you the help of his pirate ship for a short amount of time, which is quite cool. The other players are treasure goblins who are carrying coins and trying to avoid you, so there's lots of very interesting gameplay going on there. The next one is called the Haunted Mines, and it requires you to kill the undead in the underground mines and collect their skulls in a sort of a mix of a PvP and PvE setting. There's also a boss that has a lot of skills, so there could be a big team fight around him. And once all the skulls are collected, a golem will appear for each team, and this golem depends on how many skulls you collect. So if you get a lot, you're going to have a giant golem, and this will rampage its way across the map, smashing enemy fortifications, enemy heroes, that sort of thing. And whenever the golem dies, it will respawn the next time it comes to life. All in all, quite interesting. So your team just wants to keep the golems as far away from the base as possible. Your base, that is. It just seems like these maps are really innovative, in terms of, in comparison to the rest of the space. It's nice to see somebody actually doing things that are different. Now next, let's talk about gameplay. So, last hitting is gone. They said it was no fun having to apologize for killing an enemy. I think this is true. Last hitting, it's one of those things that makes sense in Dota, but I think just from a raw gameplay perspective, it's clunky and weird. Also, communication, they said it's very important for communication to be there and how it impacts strategy and that sort of thing, and the playing with friends is really the intended way to play it rather than pugs, as it is with most Blizzard games. Well, that's at least what they say. And the devs are going to try to make communication in-game as easy as possible, so it's probably going to have loads of things like pings. Maybe they'll have some sort of VoIP, I don't know if that would work though. Anyway, that's basically their philosophy in that. Also, the game has a mount system. This will allow your team to mount up and move quickly out of combat. This is nice, it reduces things like downtime after you die, so just keeps the flow of the match nice and snappy. Also, they said that individual skill is nice, but you won't be able to make your hero much more powerful than anyone else's, mainly because I'd say that team level system, and that the game is about playing with a team, not as an individual. And finally, they said that it will have competitive play, but whether it becomes an esport or not depends on the community. So that's it for Heroes of the Storm. Overall, I'm very excited to this game. Also, the open beta registrations are up, so you probably want to go and sign up for that. I have. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please stay updated with the channel over the weekend for all the latest BlizzCon coverage. I'm going to be prioritizing World of Warcraft, but as you can see from this video, every other property will be covered. So that's it, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.